Welcome to episode 1 of How to Start a Business, the podcast that teaches you everything you need to know about launching your own venture. I'm your host, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how to find a business idea. Finding a business idea is one of the most challenging and exciting steps in starting a business. A good business idea should solve a problem, fulfill a need, or offer something that people want. It should also be something that you are passionate about, knowledgeable about, and skilled at. But how do you come up with a good business idea? There are many ways to generate business ideas, and in this episode, we're going to cover some of the most effective ones. We're going to look at how to identify your strengths and interests, research your target market and industry, brainstorm and evaluate different ideas, test and validate your idea. By the end of this episode, you should have a clear idea of how to find a business idea that suits you and your audience. So let's get started. The first step in finding a business idea is to identify your strengths and interests. This will help you narrow down your options and focus on something that you enjoy and excel at. To identify your strengths and interests, you can ask yourself questions such as: what are you good at? What do you love doing? What are you curious about? What are you passionate about? What are your hobbies and skills? What are your values and goals? You can also use tools such as personality tests, aptitude tests, or career assessments to discover more about yourself and your potential. Once you have a list of your strengths and interests, you can look for patterns and themes that can inspire your business idea. For example, if you are good at writing, love reading, and are curious about history, you could start a blog or a podcast about historical topics. Or if you are good at cooking, love food, and are passionate about health, you could start a catering service or a food delivery app that offers healthy meals. The key is to find something that combines your strengths and interests in a unique and valuable way. The second step in finding a business idea is to research your target market and industry. This will help you understand the needs, wants, problems, and trends of your potential customers and competitors. To research your target market and industry, you can use methods such as online surveys, interviews, focus groups, observation, online forums, social media, reviews, blogs, podcasts, magazines, reports, statistics. You can also use tools such as Google Trends, Keyword Planner, or market research to find relevant data and insights. The goal is to find out: who are your ideal customers? What are their demographics, psychographics, behaviors, and preferences? What are their pain points, challenges, goals, and desires? How do they currently solve their problems or fulfill their needs? What are their expectations and satisfaction levels? How can you reach them and communicate with them? You can also research your competitors by finding out: who are they? What are their products or services? What are their strengths and weaknesses? What are their unique selling propositions, USPs, and value propositions, VPs? How do they market themselves and attract customers? How do they retain customers and generate revenue? How can you differentiate yourself from them? The goal is to find gaps or opportunities in the market that you can fill with your business idea. The third step in finding a business idea is to brainstorm and evaluate different ideas. This will help you generate multiple options and select the best one. To brainstorm different ideas, you can use techniques such as brainstorming, mind mapping, Scamper, SWOT analysis, idea matrix, reverse brainstorming, random word association, online idea generators. Now let me explain these ideas in simple terms. 1. Brainstorming. Brainstorming is a way to generate lots of ideas quickly. It involves coming up with as many ideas as possible, without worrying about whether they are good or bad. It's like a creative thinking session where you can share any idea that comes to mind. 2. Mind mapping. Mind mapping is a visual way to organize your thoughts and ideas. You start with a central idea or topic and then branch out with related ideas and subtopics. It helps you see connections between different ideas and makes it easier to understand and remember them. 3. Scamper. Scamper is a technique used to stimulate creative thinking and problem solving. It stands for substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and reverse. Each letter represents a different way to approach a problem or idea and come up with new possibilities. 4. SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is a tool used to assess the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to a specific situation or idea. It helps you understand the internal and external factors that can influence the success of your idea or project. 5. Idea matrix. An idea matrix is a simple grid or table that helps you organize and evaluate different ideas based on certain criteria. It allows you to compare ideas side by side and make decisions based on their strengths and weaknesses. 6. Reverse brainstorming. Reverse brainstorming is a technique where you try to generate ideas by focusing on the opposite or reverse of the problem or challenge. Instead of asking how to solve a problem, you ask how to create the problem. It can help you think outside the box and come up with innovative solutions. 7. Random word association. Random word association is a technique where you take a random word and try to connect it to your problem or idea. By forcing these connections, you can generate new perspectives and ideas that you might not have thought of otherwise. 8. Online idea generators. Online idea generators are tools or websites that provide random prompts or suggestions to help you come up with new ideas. They can give you a starting point or spark your creativity by presenting you with unexpected combinations or concepts. You can also use sources of inspiration such as your own experiences and stories, your customers' feedback and suggestions, your competitors' innovations and failures, your industry's trends and changes, your environment's problems and opportunities, your passions and hobbies. The key is to generate as many ideas as possible without judging or filtering them. You can write them down on a paper, a whiteboard, a spreadsheet, or an app. Once you have a list of ideas, you can evaluate them by using criteria such as feasibility, how easy or hard is it to implement the idea? Viability, how profitable or sustainable is the idea? Desirability, how attractive or appealing is the idea to your customers? Originality, how unique or innovative is the idea compared to others? Scalability, how much potential does the idea have to grow or expand? You can also use tools such as Lean Canvas, Business Model Canvas, or Value Proposition Canvas to map out your ideas and test their assumptions. The goal is to select one or a few ideas that score high on these criteria and move on to the next step. The fourth and final step in finding a business idea is to test and validate your idea. This will help you confirm that your idea has a market demand and a competitive edge. To test and validate your idea, you can use methods such as Minimum Viable Product, MVP, a simplified version of your product or service that you can launch quickly and cheaply to test its core features and benefits. Landing page, a web page that showcases your product or service and collects leads or signups from interested customers. Prototype, a mock-up or a simulation of your product or service that you can use to demonstrate its functionality and design. Pilot, a small-scale or limited-time launch of your product or service to a selected group of customers or users. Experiment, a controlled test of your product or service that measures its performance and outcomes against a hypothesis or a goal. You can also use tools such as Google Analytics, SurveyMonkey, MailChimp, or Hotjar to collect and analyze data and feedback from your tests. The goal is to measure customer validation. How many people are interested in your product or service? How many people are willing to pay for it? How many people are satisfied with it? Product validation, how well does your product or service solve your customers' problems or fulfill their needs? How well does it perform against your competitors? How well does it fit your vision and values? Based on the results of your tests, you can decide whether to proceed with your idea if it validates well, pivot your idea if it needs some changes or improvements. Perish your idea if it fails to validate. That's it for episode 1 of How to Start a Business. In this episode, we learned how to find a business idea by following these 4 steps. Identify your strengths and interests. Research your target market and industry. Brainstorm and evaluate different ideas. Test and validate your idea. I hope you found this episode helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me at your email address. I would love to hear from you. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how to validate your business idea. We're going to learn how to test your assumptions, get feedback from your customers, and refine your value proposition. Stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening to How to Start a Business. I'm your host, Debbie, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.